Hey guys, so we're on part two for car modifications to get as a gift for someone or significant other, especially during this holiday season. So let's run that intro and jump right into it. Hey guys, welcome back to another Talking Mods. Now, I just mentioned it, we are on part two of this series. This budget area is within the $1,000. It's within $1,000, so 800 to 1,200 is where I'm looking at. Now, this is a little bit more of an expensive gift, but it is one that either you are buying for yourself or you might still be getting it as a gift, which is just an amazing gift to get from someone, especially a really nice sizable gift for your own vehicle as an enthusiast or to get for someone else. So let's just jump into it. Again, the shameless plug is Mod Bargains. All these items should be available. Most of them are, but a lot of the data and the information that I'm providing you is what we sell and what I have seen and what I have seen as gifts for people. So just as consideration. And as always, put down comments below as you're watching. Maybe you have your own ideas on what you think would make a really good gift, or don't forget, you can share this as well with the other person that you want them to, you want them to buy you something. So if you saw the part one, it helps. So let's jump into it. The first one is one that is a lot of guys like to buy, and it can be expensive or not expensive. I recommend typically installation on exterior items to be done by a professional shop. Some guys like to do it themselves, but because of the installation factor, I consider this to actually go above the $500 range when you include it. So exterior components are front lips, diffusers. Now, diffusers and front lips can vary. It depends on the brand, but in general, there are some great value brands that are within the $500, $600 range. Installation won't be too crazy as well. We're talking about, about a $200 install, let's say, as well. So exterior components like side skirts, diffuser, front lip, they add a lot. It's the exterior of the vehicle. Even if you have an EV, a Tesla, it doesn't matter what it is. It changes the aerodynamics. It makes a big effect on the vehicle. So I think that was a great one to start with. So let's jump into the second one. And as I say the second one, I'm constantly thinking right now about what I've seen in the industry. And what I've seen in the industry is a supply chain issue. And I think this is across the board. So if you're trying to get something right now for the holidays, even if it's not with us, you really need to check within the inventory. So a lot of these side skirts, these components, exterior components, have been sold out. And there's a lot of pre-orders going on. If you are buying it for someone, sometimes you might just have to say, hey, I got this for you as a pre-order. It's going to be coming in, and that's the situation. The same thing is going to be on most of these as I go through it, because I'm remembering now how difficult it is right now to get stuff. And I share this with you as someone who's tried to personally buy certain things for himself. I was buying a mattress. It took a long time to get a mattress, for example. So everything across the supply chain is having issues. But let's just jump into the second one. The second one is going to be suspension. And initially I just wanted to say coilovers, because coilovers will generally cost you. I did a good budget coilover video, which we'll link up there for you guys. And within $1,000 range, you get a nice, great budget coilover. So if you are within that $1,000 price point, you can buy a coilover for someone or get it as gifted and so forth. And it's amazing, especially specifically for that vehicle. On the other side of suspension, you probably were thinking about springs, but I didn't include springs in the first part because springs, again, I'm kind of factoring in installation. So once you have the springs, which are not expensive, they'll generally be between $300 to $400 for a set of springs, but once you include the installation, that's where the price jumps up, because you could be looking at an additional $400 to $600 depending on the vehicle, and then an alignment. So right now, with springs, you would jump all the way to $1,000 with an install. And again, I'm actually filming this right as I know someone just purchased for their boyfriend springs and installation and alignment, which came out to $1,000. So I was like, well, that makes sense. So suspension makes a big effect. It's really for the guy with performance or somebody who already has purchased wheels, but they have that big gap, and they should probably lower it, or they've been probably looking at lowering it and they just haven't put it into their budget yet. So I recommend that you get the suspension. All right, the next one is a simple one, makes a big effect. You will be able to hear it, and they probably have talked about the brand that they like, but it's an exhaust. There are lots of exhausts out there for most vehicles. They are specifically made for that vehicle, and it usually exhaust will range within the $1,000 range. Again, plus or minus, depends on the vehicle. You can keep the budget down by getting just an axle back. You don't have to get the full cat back. There are some certain brands that will basically allow you to buy the additional piping as needed. This requires some research. Usually that enthusiast has been doing that research. I generally recommend asking a modification expert, which is like our guys here, sales guys who have experience, who have heard it, or checking in with other enthusiasts. The next one is really, this is probably the biggest impact. It is my number one. If they haven't done so on their vehicle, I think wheels. At Mod Bargains, that's our top thing that we love to sell is wheels. Wheels every day. So wheels are just make a huge impact, right? Wheels are right here. They look amazing. And they will change the impact on your car. Brands like Sportline, brands like BC Forge. There are so many great brands out there. But just like you love shoes, men love shoes, they love to switch them out. Whether it's shoes, watches, women also love shoes, or they love different purses. If you're buying something for your significant other, buying her a purse or buying her a different set of shoes, believe me, they're going to be super appreciative because they can never get enough. The same thing happens with wheels. They are a fashion. They stand out. They change the dynamics of the way a car looks. There are performance wheels, and there's some amazing value, like example in the Sportline, where you can get within, they're above 1,000, but you can get within it where they're made into flow form. And there's a video where I made, we'll put it up and we'll link that as well, but that video will explain the difference in the manufacturing of wheels so you can get a nice high performance wheel. Wheels is another situation where inventory is situational because it is a very high demand product and it does sell out pretty quickly. And sometimes they're just made to order, and that's just the nature of how that business structure is for that wheel brand. So, but it is a big one that I highly recommend. I think that's the number one if that's within budget. I know it's a bigger budget, and usually what we end up doing is we buy it for ourselves and we make that impact ourselves. So I will always say that's probably my number one go-to mod for anybody that has that budget for it. So the next one is also known as a head unit upgrade, infotainment upgrade. It's really for the person who doesn't have a newer vehicle, meaning that vehicle doesn't have all of today's new bells and whistles, like Apple CarPlay, connection to their, with their phones or texting, backup cameras. All these things are now part of these new heads-up displays or infotainment system upgrades that are available. Generally, they cost around $700 to $800. There's a lot of options out there. This is not something that we sell on our site, but they are readily available. There are great channels like Flex, makes a great, talks about different products for certain vehicles. There are other channels that do talk about it. Do your research is what I recommend. Obviously, and the one big piece of advice when you go for these components is to get the fastest processor possible. So just because it might be a little bit cheaper, check the processor that they're using, because the processor, and especially with touch screens and so forth, you want it to be as quick as possible in pulling up the backup camera, pulling up the map system. The faster the processor, usually the more upgrades they have for the life of the vehicle, and the better that they do. And guys, for the last one, it's a bonus one. You guys, if you stuck around this entire way, it is a bonus one. I hope to see your comments below on products that you think should be put on there, and to get your own feedback. And hopefully you guys have shared this video. But the last one, the bonus one, is one that I think for the guy who goes off-roading, goes out excursions, has that truck, has that Jeep, and likes to have that nice beefy excursion stuff. I think doing the off-road lighting, they are a little bit pricier, and that's why they're in the in the higher price range, especially the light bars and so forth. And with installation, quality ones is what I generally recommend, so that they will last 10 years plus. You don't want something like that failing out in the middle of nowhere where you're really relying on those lights. But they are awesome. They've changed the look of the vehicle completely. You can tell the vehicle is now truly off-road sometimes with the lighting. It really kind of completes that look, and I think it's a nice bonus and a nice gift to get someone. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it, and guys, I will see you on the next Talking Mods.